This is going to be a little description of my musical heritage. When I first recalled music in my home, it was probably Elvis Presley. My sister was playing, and she listened to Paul Anka and a lot of the old rock and roll people, Dion de Belmonts, things like that. Okay, I'm doing this because most of you will never come to my house. All right, in 1964, my sister and I watched the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, of course. And that same year, we got to go to a closed circuit TV viewing at the Washington concert, and it was on a screen in Greensboro. It was a simulcast even in those days. And so Beatles were early influence from 64, 65 and on, and there would never be any other band that would equal them in their presence in my experience. This happens to be two photos, one of Neil Young and Willie Nelson. This is the most recent influences, especially when I was living in Indian country. And of course, Johnny Cash and Billy Graham. There's a photo from the Jesus movement that I became a Christian in. But anyway, going back to the 60s, about 67, as I recall, Cream. This was my first hearing of Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, Ginger Baker, and Clapton would continue to be my top guitar influence because the Beatles are more general musicians. Sunshine of Your Love, had the single, learned to play it, wore it out, as well as Wheels of Fire, and as well as Goodbye Concert and many other Cream recordings. 69, first heard of Santana at Woodstock. Didn't go to Woodstock, but had friends that were there, and one friend that helped build the stage. But Santana is up about number 2. Down below here is back to Elvis. This is the Stamps Quartet. Donnie Sumner is to your left of Elvis. And Donnie is a friend of mine, lived at Graceland 9 years, produced a couple of my songs, and big influence in me. Also 67 through 69, Jimi Hendrix Experience. Can't say enough about that. The most innovative music that came into my life. Sorry about the shaking, I'm an old guy. Derek Dominoes, a Layla album recorded in Florida with Tom Dowd. And of course, that would be the optimal Clapton album for me. Also about 67, the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper, blocked a little bit by the TV so the Grand Boys could play their video games. Okay. General influence, Chet Atkins was a member of society, attended his memorial service, sat with Ben Spear, and attended the Chet Atkins Appreciation Society meetings, and carried old men with me who played like Chet Atkins. And a real technical influence. Okay, about 76, I heard this band, the Larry Irvin Singers, in Ashburn, North Carolina. Fell in love with that tallest daughter, and the rest is history. I became a guitar player in this band. We traveled throughout the Southeast. There's another album cover of the Larry Irvin Singers. They were Southern Gospel, traveled throughout the Southeast, and it was a really great time for me. I played bass and electric guitar, okay, and acoustic. This is Second Chapter of Acts with Footnotes, their first album. When I became a Christian in 74, this was the go-to album. Easter Song, and many others. So my family and I would attend several concerts with them. Also at this time, 74, Phil Keaggy on What a Day. And Phil Keaggy continues to be a great musical influence in my life. Okay, that's just a little teaser there in my music room of my musical heritage.